Pottery Barn has a ton of baskets and you can find so many of them at your local thrift store. Check out this one. The shape on it is perfect. And that's the thing, you guys, if you can find a good shape, you can totally paint it and add to it to recreate it. This one's gonna be perfect to DIY.
Looking at my inspo pick from Pottery Barn, it's definitely a darker wood. Now, did you know that you can stain your baskets? I'm gonna come in with a medium stain, and using a foam brush, I'm just going to place the stain onto my basket. Now, you really don't have to wipe away too much of the excess here, but using a foam brush I find is the best technique to kind of get all the stain onto your piece. Now in my inspo pick, they had wrapped handles. Now my handles were a little bit smaller, so I'm gonna use some nautical rope to bulk up my handles. So I will cut off a piece of nautical rope and hot glue it to my already existing handles. The next thing I'm gonna do is use a little bit thinner of a nautical rope that I picked up off Amazon. I'll link it for you down below. And I'm going to wrap it around the handles. I'll add hot glue maybe every other time that I wrap it around, and make sure you add enough hot glue to the last piece. I'll repeat these steps on the other side. If you've never tried staining your baskets before, it's a great way to give new life to old baskets.
One of the most obvious items to pick up at the thrift store is furniture. You can get some great quality pieces, wood furniture, unique items, sand them, paint them, stain them. There's so many things you can do.
So I was so excited to find this coffee table. You guys know that this like bevel detail is so in right now. It's so popular. And I realized it fit as far as like width, but it was way too high. So I needed to cut off 5 inches from this coffee table. I'm using 2 coats of ink by Waverly on the entire coffee table. I know my kids are gonna have their feet on here. I wanted to make it nice and sealed. So I'm gonna be using a water-based sealer. And here's a look at how everything turned out. And this all started with a $12 coffee table.
Over here in the glassware section, I have a Pottery Barn dupe for these glass containers.
All right, I have to say, you guys, this one did not turn out the exact way that I wanted it to, but I'm going to kind of show you what I did and tell you what I'd change for next time. So I needed a base to put my Quikrete in for this. So I got 3 lemonade containers because I needed something pretty long, and I'm gonna put one in the center, and then I taped them up. I felt like this was a good idea, but the problem with this was it wasn't completely flat along the center. So I did have some of those lines whenever I took it out of the mold. If you guys have any suggestions for a better mold that I could do, I would love your suggestions. Next, I mixed up Quikrete and water. I will say for this project, I needed quite a bit of Quikrete, so I had to buy a larger one. I wasn't able to mix it all up at once. I continued to add and mix, and then I tried to move it around so it was nice and flat. Then I took some painter's tape to hold it together. Then I placed my glass containers into the mold, and I tried to make them as level as possible. I was able to get 5 in the container. I let this sit overnight. The next day, I removed the outside container. Now you could see that you're able to see those lines. I also felt like on the edges, it kind of went down and it didn't stay as level as I wanted it to. So I came in and tried to sand it down to get it as nice and even as possible. I cleaned up all of my jars and I added in some candles. Although it's not perfect, I do feel like it's similar to the Pottery Barn piece. I feel like for the future, I just need to find a better mold. Maybe I could use a cardboard box that was the correct size. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
One of the bigger trends we're noticing right now are blue and white dishes, pottery. We're seeing it in vases at Pottery Barn and other stores. And here at my thrift store, they have so many dishes in that blue and white color scheme. So I want to do a DIY with these, maybe something beautiful in my kitchen. I'm finding several really pretty teacups priced at around $1 or $2. This one's $1.50. So I want to make a tray. So I found this blue and white plate that I'm going to use to make kind of a pedestal tray, and I'll show you how I put it all together.
I'm going to start by spray painting my base just with 2 coats of a matte white spray paint. Once that dried, I removed all of the labels from my cups and my plates, and I'm going to use E6000 to attach the base to my plate. Just make sure when you put your plate on that you try to get it as centered as possible. Again, let this sit overnight. E6000 needs that time to bond. I picked up 3 different herb plants that I could keep out in my kitchen, and I'm just going to plant those into my blue and white cups. This is the perfect piece to put out in your kitchen, on your countertop, and anytime you need fresh herbs, they'll be available.
So there's this decor section over at my Restore, and I was looking at the pictures and the lamps. Found this lamp, you guys. This is a really modern style lamp. I know I've seen something very similar on high-end sites. They want $10 for it. We're gonna get it, update the paint, and it's gonna look completely brand new.
With everything I pick up at the thrift store, I always have to clean it really well, and this lamp was no exception. So I came through and wiped it down really well. Next, I needed to prep it for spray paint. The area where the light bulb goes in, I'm just going to tape that up. And then for the cord, I'm going to tape that. I'll put the rest of the cord in a sack, and I'll just add tape around it. I'm going to spray paint the entire lamp with an ivory colored spray paint. I wanted this lamp to have a lot of texture to it, so I came in with a multicolored texture spray that was in a similar color family with the ivory. Next, I added in a stone texture spray. When you use this, you have to make sure you have a color underneath. This will give your piece a stone appearance, and you really don't need to add that much. After that, I removed the tape and sack from my lamp. And here's how the lamp looks styled in my home.
Two things we see a lot of at Pottery Barn are the scallop edges on their bowls, and a lot of the bowls also have feet on them. So we found this piece. It's $8 here at my thrift store, but it's got both of those, so we're definitely going to create this into a Pottery Barn dupe.
I'm always blown away by the cool bowls that I'm able to find at my thrift store. I absolutely love this one. So I want to mimic that color we saw in the Pottery Barn one. So I had a terracotta color, but I felt like it was a little too dark. So I'm gonna add in some white paint and mix that together. I'm gonna paint the bottom of my bowl. And then I'll flip that over and paint the inside. Now, when I paint like this on a bowl, you're definitely gonna have to do 2 coats. After I painted 2 coats, I let both of those coats dry. If you notice on the Pottery Barn bowl, it kind of has a white cast to it. So I mixed some white paint with a little bit of that terracotta, and I'm going to come in with a wet brush, and I'm just going to brush it on the edge of my bowl. And then I'm gonna use my paper towel to kind of wipe off the excess. I wanna give it that look of the white streaky lines. So I'll do that all over the bowl. And here's the 2 side by side. Hey guys, I'm Liz, and you're watching my second DIY channel where I post daily DIY videos. You may be familiar with my main channel, Liz Fenwick DIY, but I'm glad that you found me over here on my second channel. Make sure that you're subscribed so you just get notified every day when I post our daily DIY video.